Good evening. It is Thursday, the 26th of September 2024, and here's the latest news. A state of emergency has been declared in 61 of Florida's 67 counties, and several are under evacuation order. This as a result of Hurricane Helene as she continues to move inland. Helene landed in Florida's Big Bend at approximately 11:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as a Category 4 hurricane with winds 140 miles per hour, according to the National Hurricane Center. The hurricane came ashore just east of the mouth of the Osceola River, about 10 miles west-southwest of Perry, the Hurricane Center said. Helene continues to produce catastrophic winds that are pushing further inland over the Florida Big Bend and Florida Panhandle and will soon be entering southeastern Georgia. This is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. Persons should not leave their shelters and remain in place through the passage of these life-threatening conditions. When in the eye, people are reminded to not venture out into the relative calm as hazardous winds will increase very quickly when the eye passes. Hurricane and tropical storm warnings are in effect across coastal areas of southern Florida. A storm surge warning is in effect for almost all of Florida's west coast, where surging waters described as unsurvivable could reach as high as 20 feet in places. A driver was killed after a sign fell onto the driver's car in Tampa, according to the Florida Highway Patrol. And power outages have been mounting across Florida due to Helene and will get more widespread as the Category 4 storm causes damage and storm surge moving inland. As of 9 p.m., 445,000 customers were without power across the state. And in other international news, at least 46 people have drowned, most of them children, while bathing in rivers and ponds swollen by recent floods during the observance of a Hindu religious festival celebrated by millions in India. The dead include 37 children and 7 women who drowned in the eastern state of Bihar in scattered incidents across 15 districts, authorities said earlier today. Devotees were celebrating the annual festival of Jivapatkiya Vrat, during which women fast for 24 hours and offer prayers for the well-being of their children. They also travel to rivers and ponds in their neighborhood to bathe, sometimes accompanied by their children. The Bihar state government announced compensation of 400,000 rupees, it's an equivalent of 4,784 US dollars, for the families of each of the deceased. Deadly incidences are common at places of worship during major religious festivals in India, the biggest of which prompt millions of devotees to make pilgrimages to holy sites. Last year, local media reported 22 people drowned during a 24-hour period in Bihar, most while marking the same festival. Meanwhile, locally, several individuals were rushed to hospital after an ambulance and a bus carrying hotel workers crashed in Salem, St. Anne early this afternoon. Police report that the incident occurred at approximately 1:30 p.m. According to the lawmen, both vehicles were traveling in opposite directions when they collided. The police were called to the scene and the injured persons were taken to hospital for treatment. Jessica Hamill, an employee of Rio Hotel, where the hotel workers are reportedly employed, said the incident has dampened her mood. Quote, "It's sad to say you're going to earn a little living and this tragedy happened. Just give thanks to God that no one lost their lives." End quote. She told the Observer Online that she has since received reports that one of her co-workers has been discharged. According to the Road Safety Unit, at least 31 people have died in crashes in St. Anne since the start of the year. And the Consent Spring police are investigating the fatal shooting of a teenager in Grand Bend Wednesday night. The victim has been identified as 18-year-old Malik Brown, an unemployed resident of Shortwood Lane, Kingston A. About about 8:30 p.m., Brown was reportedly walking along Odman Lane in Grants Pen when he was attacked and shot by unknown assailants. He was rushed to the Kingston Public Hospital, where he later succumbed to his injuries. Meanwhile, a security guard of Sandy Close Manly Meadows in Kingston is now facing multiple charges following the alleged shooting death of three people in the parish last year. He has been identified as 31-year-old Lamar Leachman. Leachman is charged with three counts of murder, wounding with intent, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and possession of a prohibited weapon. Reports are that about 9:50 a.m. on Monday, October 16, 2023, a group of men were sitting on a section of Bray Street when men armed with handguns exited a vehicle and opened gunfire at them. Several of the men were reportedly injured and the gunmen escaped in the waiting motor car. The police were summoned and the injured men were assisted to hospital where three of them died on arrival. An investigation was carried out and Leishman was arrested and subsequently charged on Wednesday, September 25, 2024, following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. A court date for Leishman is being finalized. And Portland businessman Everton Beachy Stout MacDonald and Oscar Barnes, the man who murdered MacDonald's wife, were both sentenced to life in prison and will each have to serve 28 years and 11 months before being eligible for parole. The 70-year-old businessman was also sentenced to 4 years and 6 months imprisonment for conspiracy, while 33-year-old Tyler was sentenced to 6 years and 6 months for conspiracy. The men, who were this afternoon sentenced by Justice Chester Stamp, were both found guilty in March of the murder of Tonya MacDonald. The 30-year-old woman's partially burnt body was found on a deserted road in Sherwood Forest in Portland in July 2020. The body had 9 stab wounds and the throat slashed. A contract killer, Denverlin Minot, who is serving 19 years in prison for his role in her murder, had testified that Beachy Stout hired him to kill his wife for $3 million, but that he had passed on the work to Barnes. Minot testified that he and Barnes made about 4 unsuccessful trips to Tonia's house to kill her before he lured her to the area where she was eventually murdered under the pretense that he had secured 2 guns that she was seeking to purchase. The court heard that Tonya wanted to purchase a gun to avenge her father's death and that her husband introduced her to Minot for his assistance. Barnes and Beecher Stout have both denied killing the woman or being part of a murder conspiracy. And more rain is in the forecast for Jamaica as a tropical wave is expected to move across the island this weekend, bringing with it periods of showers and thunderstorms. Heavy rainfall has been affecting the island since last Saturday, causing the Meteorological Service of Jamaica, the Met Office, to extend a flash flood watch for the country. And finally, September is Suicide Prevention Month, a time to raise awareness of this urgently important crisis. We use this month to shift public perception, spread hope, and share vital information to people affected by suicide. September is also Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, a time to raise awareness about this serious health issue that affects men of all ages. Show your support by taking a simple challenge to eat 30 healthy foods in 30 days. We know that 30% of cancer is preventable with lifestyle factors. Eating healthy and exercising can prevent any number of chronic diseases, and in some cases, like diabetes, it can even help reverse some of the most dangerous effects. While the challenge was to run for the month of September, you can still do the challenge in the month of October and beyond. You can also wear blue tomorrow, Friday, the 27th of September 2024, to show your support. And that was your latest news brought to you by Omega News, your optimum source for news in Jamaica and its environs. So Please remember to subscribe and press the notification bell on our YouTube channel to be notified of the latest news update. Please remember also to share this broadcast with your friends and family and send us your feedback at omeganewsja@gmail.com. Do have yourselves a blessed Friday when it comes.